Welcome everyone to the Superspeedway Kings here at Talladega. Welcome back to the IWM broadcast. A little hiatus there for a couple weeks for Valentine's Day, but we appreciate you tuning in tonight to the IWM Broadcast Network. We're in for some Superspeedway racing tonight. I'm Rick Souza, joined here in the booth with my co-host Jeff Neene. Jeff, it's been a little bit, been a minute since we've had these guys on the broadcast, but we're glad to see them.
It really has. It's been, I think, 2 weeks now that we have not, or the last two Tuesdays we have not broadcast. We did have the chance 2 weeks ago, you and I did, Rick, well, we weren't able to broadcast that night, but the guys were gracious enough to let us race with them. And that was a real treat. I don't think we have anybody in fear of their jobs. But it was an eyeful for me to get to see how these guys race, how good they really are when you can watch them up close and personal.
Absolutely, it was a blast. So we're glad to be back here in the broadcast booth because that's where we should be, and they are where they should be.
Exactly.
All right, so we're watching a few qualifiers right now. Got the best time is boasted by Mr. Gary Jenkins with 54.99. Of course, that 55 seconds around this track, that's a single car making its way around. If you're just tuning in to our broadcast tonight for the Superspeedway Kings, you know this is Talladega, and what that means is pack racing, 2 and 3 wide.
It's going to be an exciting evening, and just to follow up with what you were saying there, these qualifying laps at 55 seconds, these guys will run when they're racing in a pack. They'll be running in the 50-second bracket. So 5 seconds faster, which is considerable. So if you use the draft, if you get out of the pack and you're on your own, it's lights out. You're going to fall behind very, very quickly. That's why you'll see these guys not only race in packs, but they will pit in packs. The objective is to always have a dance partner, and that's what we're going to see tonight. Tom Dixon out there right now. Yeah, Gary Jenkins still the only one, sub 55 seconds. Right now it's followed up by Steve Korosek at 55.029. Then Gabe Butler at 55.074, and Joe Della Vecchia at 55.092. And then rounding out the top 5, Mike Rimkus at 55.131. So these guys are putting in some fast laps. Gary's still the only one sub 55, and he's only sub 55 by 6 1/1000ths of a second. So it's amazing to me how tight these guys are in lap times, and it's not easy to do. Those of you that have done it realize that you can be a second or so off, and these guys are they're all within 3/10 right at the moment. So that's pretty good. Shows the competency and the ability these guys have, not only in the draft, but while they're qualifying as well.
All right, looks like the grid has been set. So let's take you through the Superspeedway Kings event tonight at Talladega. On the pole, Gary Jenkins in the 90. On the outside, Steve Korosek in the 027. On the inside, behind Gary, Tom Dixon in the 411. James Mohan on the outside. Gabe Butler in 5th spot. There on the inside. Joe Della Vecchia on the outside. In 7th, Mike Rimkus. 8th, Richard A. Sanchez in that 510. In 9th, Zachary Lima. And in 10th, Eric Laurie.
I got to tell you, Rick, I am having difficulty reading the screen tonight with the new software update. I'm seeing a lot of windows, and the race window is small enough that I can't read it.
All right, well, we'll fix that. So we let 11 will be Dean Wilkinson, 12 Kevin Fries, 13 Shane Posey, 14th, Zachary Workman. 15th, Robert Rock. 16th, Brian Boussard. And 17th, Edward Fielder.
Look to be like qualifying is done and the guys are gridding up right now. We see Gary Jenkins did get first place. Looks like the stream has ended on my screen anyway.
Well, there's a little bit of change coming to your screen. Go ahead and take a look at that.
There we go. Oh, now we can see it real good.
Okay.
You see the you see the 90 truck of Gary Jenkins there on the pole as they roll off on this first parade lap. Not as many trucks this evening as what we have had in the past, but we've got some good racers here tonight.
I'm guessing is a number of guys coming off of pit road. Not really sure.
Yeah, there were from 12th place back, so 6 trucks that did not qualify. So those guys may have started from pit road, or they're just getting out their lead. Yeah, let's see. Kevin Freeze in the 25, Shane Posey in the 83, Zachary Workman in the 19, Robert Rock in the 171, Brian Boussard in the 745, and Edward Fielder in the 111. All chose not to qualify and to start at the back.
All right, well, they have not made their way. Well, we'll just see how it all plays out.
Yeah, they could be starting from pit lane. Let's see if I can take a look at pit lane, see if they're still sitting there. I can't see anything, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything either.
Yep, I'm looking for other drivers. I'm not seeing anything in our software right now, but that may just be unfortunately, that may just be where we are at today. We did have some software issues earlier. We've rebuilt it as best we could. We'll see how it all plays out. But I'm looking for the rest of the field, and I don't see them on my screen.
Huh, interesting. Yep, I see Kevin Freeze, and he was one of those that did not qualify. So he's out there on the track. We'll see if the other guys join us shortly or not. But
yeah, we're having some technical issues here.
There we go. Green flag. These guys, they don't care about our technical issues. They're going to race. And, they're heading down into turn 1. Nicely formed up in 2 lanes right now. Being that this is Talladega, they won't stay 2 lanes forever. There'll be a lot of 3 wide, and occasionally, I'm sure that we're going to see 4 wide at some point.
Well, I think we're going to have to maybe take a small technical break here just to figure out where the rest of these, why we're not seeing the rest of these drivers. On your screen, do you see the rest of the field?
No, I see about, let's see, 5 cars in each lane. That's it.
Is that through iRacing? That's all you see?
No, that's on, let me get back to my iRacing. I'm having an issue over here as well. I can get back there really quickly. Yeah, I see the field in iRacing.
Okay, all right. So we're going to take a quick technical break here. We'll be making a small little change. We'll be right back.
Big wreck there on lap
but the caution did not come out.
Whoa. That is so weird.
All right, welcome back. Small technical issue we had right there. We got it resolved relatively quickly. However, there was an incident back with Joe Della Vecchia. Let's just try to run back. No caution came out.
Oh, right there. Got a little tap from behind and then a big tap from the inside lane. And sent Joe for a ride there in that team truck.
All right. Kevin Freeze is showing us the way. Right down that 25. Gabe Bogle behind him. Richard Sanchez on that outside in the 511. Thank you for bearing with us.
Yeah, Kevin Freeze made his way up to the front pretty quickly. He started, if I remember right, 12th position. And here we are, lap 4. He's already Gabe Butler up there as well. Sanchez, Laurie, Wilkinson, Workman. Well, you'll see on that pylon on the left side there, the positions change, and it'll change faster than we can talk sometimes. We'll be right there. You just big change there in the front 4. Looked like everybody changed positions. But that happens when you're running too wide, nose to tail, and all it takes is one truck to get a half a truck length. And you saw, couldn't see which truck that was. That yellow truck there made a move from the outside lane down to the inside. You saw
that's the 510 of Richard Sanchez. Yes, he was on that outside lane and dropped down right in front of the 25.
Yep, he picked up the lead now. And Richard is he's running 4th in the championship battle right at the moment. Having a good season so far.
All right, thank you for joining us here on Tuesday nights with the IWM Broadcast Network, bringing you the Super Speedway Kings. We appreciate you tuning in.
Looking for 2, and I'm thinking he's still in the pits. Oh, no, Joe Del Vecchia disconnected.
Yep, he is no longer, he basically said goodnight. So.
Yep. Well, sorry to see you leave, Joe. You had a good run going there.
Yep, hate that.
Just that little tap from behind is enough. When it happens that early in the race, that can be very discouraging.
All right, we're bringing you some great side-by-side racing here with the 510 of Richard Sanchez showing us the way on that low line. He's got the 25 of Kevin Freeze behind him. On that outside is that 071 of Eric Laurie. Eric has the 55 of Dean Wilkinson as his pusher behind him. The 88 of Gabe Butler also rides that lower line. He's there behind the 25. And behind that 55, you've got the 77, I believe.
171 of Robert Rock, I think.
You are correct. Ryan Roberts, the 411 of Tom Dixon on that outside. Zachary Workman is there on the inside behind the 88 in that familiar 19.
The inside lane seems to be the most popular one so far tonight. That outside lane, those 4 trucks that you see there that we just talked about, are keeping up pretty well. There were a few stragglers back behind them, but they appear to have dropped down into that inside lane to avoid losing the draft. We're projecting, if we can stay green, that probably around lap 21, 22, somewhere in that range, they'll be making their first green flag pit stop. Everybody seems to be just kind of holding line right now. They're just out there getting comfortable, getting the feel of their truck. One of the things that we talk about each week is the fact that this is an open setup league, and it makes things much more difficult for the driver, but it gives them much more control over their truck. So these guys will be out here practicing on their own. They'll practice in groups. They practice for an hour prior to the race, trying to dial in that setup and get their truck tuned so it handles just the way they like it in traffic, as well as qualifying. A lot of these guys will have separate qualifying setups when they're out there by themselves, and then a totally different setup for that truck for the race.
Well, we are on lap 9 of a scheduled 77. I say scheduled because it could change. There are some extra. While they're going around, let's take a quick look at the race info for tonight. We didn't get a chance to go through that earlier. It's 77 laps. They do have 2 quick repairs. They've got 68% fuel. They had 1 qualifying lap. And they have 3 green-white checkers. So if there's an opportunity to, if it comes down to the end, if there's a yellow flag, they can try 3 times to get that to work. You saw that this weekend in the real Daytona race. They had
2. Steve Korosek has dropped back now. He's 1 lap down.
There was
only car.
Yeah, there was an incident with Steve. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at that. I think he entered pit lane, and then there was some kind of issue. Let's go back and see. Oh, he got spun.
Yep. Got tapped from behind again. Was that the 020? No, that was his. That's.
I think it's a 22 of Zachary.
Yeah, that's what. I think you're right. Well, that spin cost Steve, but I have a feeling he'll be able to get that lap back. He is racing with the pack right now, so.
And he's just 1 lap down, so any caution comes out, he could get that lap right back. So.
These drivers have to do not only driving the car, which is a certain skill set all its own, but they're doing their own race management. They don't have a crew chief sitting on the box. They have a spotter in their ear, but in most cases that's generated electronically by iRacing. And so these guys are having to do their own race management. They're trying to decide when to pit. They're trying to decide, do I change tires? Do I take left side or right side or all 4? So a lot of decisions, a lot of things to think about while you're driving a truck at 180 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour around this 2.66 mile track.
All right, 12 laps in. The 071 of Eric Laurie is in the lead in that low line, obviously. You're going to see a number of lead changes and name changes as we progress. This league always done that. As soon as we call out who's leading and who's running in that high line, they're now down to the low line and they're swapping it back and forth. That's because these guys have some incredible skills here, and it takes a lot to drive these cars. In fact, we should go on board with Kevin Freeze. Kevin's currently sitting in 3rd. Give an idea of just what that looks like.
Yeah, I love these onboard. You see there almost exactly what Kevin is seeing. You've got a little offset position, but look how close. You can't even read the entire John Deere name. He's so close to the bumper of that truck in front of you. So things happen so quickly when you're racing on these super speedways. There's a lot that the driver has to process, a lot that they have to take into consideration. You're making many decisions every second. So it's really a thrill for me to be able to just watch these guys, to be able to do this lap after lap after lap.
14 laps in, we should see pit stops in the next 7 or so laps. Seems about lap 20, lap 21, we wind up working with pit stops.
Yep, you'll see all the guys. Now we've seen these guys. They make a liar out of me. I was just about to say that you'll see that inside line pit, but we have seen guys pit from the outside if they know or if they're quick enough to see what the inside line is doing. It's a very, very difficult maneuver to do, but a couple races ago I talked about how they would never pit from that outside lane, and the next time they pitted there were several guys that did it. So I've learned never to say never with the Super Speedway Kings. Richard Sanchez has made his way back up to the front. As soon as I say that, the 071 of Eric Laurie pulls out in front of him. It's interesting how these lines. Heard a lot of the NASCAR guys talking this weekend at the Daytona 500 about where the energy comes from, and that seemed to be a big term that I heard a lot this weekend. And it's interesting because that outside line creates and distributes energy differently than the inside line does. They tend to balance out somewhat, but if really good drivers can take advantage of that energy, they know when that is coming, when that run is coming, and they take advantage of that. Sometimes it's by shifting lanes, sometimes it's by getting in a position where they try to side draft and get a little advantage. But it's a chess match out here at 180, 190 miles an hour.
It absolutely is. Well, here we are, lap 17. Eric Laurie continues to show us the way in the 071. He's got Richard Sanchez to his outside. Kevin Freese is behind him, and the 55 of Dean Wilkinson is behind the 510 truck. Too wide here at Talladega. And you know, Talladega is one of those tracks where 3 wide is certainly commonplace. We've seen that in this league. We expect to see that as this race progresses. That, of course, that third lane is not for the faint of heart.
That is for sure. I was just sitting here when you mentioned that. I was sitting here thinking about when are we going to see that third lane. And right there, we saw one truck go up there, but nobody went with him. I think that's is that the 171?
That is the 171. That is correct.
Yeah, Robert Rock went up to that outside lane. Unfortunately, nobody chose to go with him, and there you see the difference in running with the draft. Looks like he was going to the back so he could get in line to pit. Possibly he went all the way down to that inside lane here on lap 18. In the next couple laps, they'll be coming in for a green flag pit stop.
You get that third truck on the outside there. I'm not sure what that number is. It looked like an 11. I thought we had a 111 with Eric Fielder, but
yeah.
I think that's who that is. I think it's because truck may read 11.
No,
but
it says 11. Oh.
Yeah.
It says, yeah, it's probably.
Yeah.
No, there's a 111 out there too, the Mountain Dew truck, and the 11's running right behind him. So maybe, I wonder if that's Brian Broussard, because I have not seen a truck number 745. It could be a
yeah, that's the
glitch.
111.
There we go.
There. Our first taker.
111. Yep. Is he coming in all by himself?
He is. He is coming in all by himself.
Wow. Don't see that very often, but there's Edward Fielder in that 111 choosing to pit by himself. Makes it easy to get in and out, doesn't it?
It does, but it does not make it easy keeping up with the pack, coming back out. So we'll see just what he does and how his strategy works out. Not saying it's wrong, just it's different.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what...
I expect to see, Jeff, the rest of that crew start to make their way down pit road pretty much this next run. And speaking
Yeah,
of,
yep,
there we
there
go.
they come. Ooh, a lot of them coming in.
Richard Sanchez, Gabe Butler, pretty much the
Whoa,
entire field.
7. James Mohan went completely around on pit road there.
Well, that's the challenge of coming down. Zachary Lima, I think, was also involved in something as well. You know, they're coming in so fast.
Yep.
Richard Sanchez is still on the track.
The 7 made it to his pit box. He got that truck moving in pretty quickly, and he's going to make it out with that pack. But
510 is coming in by himself.
Oh man. Yeah, that's unusual. I don't know that that's by design, because he was in the lead at one point. Last lap, in fact, he was in the lead.
Well, it's very possible
Oh,
in that
that's right.
in that
Yeah.
exchange of where they came in and out just now. Sometimes you just can't get in. You can't make it over.
Yep. Yep.
All right, so that's Richard Sanchez in the pits. We'll pick back up with Gabe Butler and the 071 of Eric Morey. Field has kind of thinned out a bit after that first round of pit stops around lap 20. We expect to see that pretty much be the case. See if we can bring up a track map to get a feel for how spread out the field is. Pretty spread out. Not terrible, but pretty spread out.
Yeah, 22, Zachary Lima's way back there now.
Yeah, unfortunately that pack is going to catch up to that 27 of Steve Korosak. He is now on the tail end of the lead lap, but
yeah, he's going to end up going a lap down pretty quickly, isn't he?
potentially.
Yeah, there he goes. Oh, thought he was going to, somebody trying to give him a push there. 25, Kevin Freeze, trying to help him along.
Yeah, but that speed differential between that pack coming up makes it really hard. Looks like some damage in the back of that 19 truck with Zachary Workman. Maybe got caught up in that earlier incident with either Joe Dellavecchia or somebody else. Let's grab that nose cam. Who's behind him? That's the 171 of Robert Rock.
Oh yeah, look at that. Serious damage there. I don't know how much that'll affect him in the draft, but big thing here is keeping your nose intact. You do not want to have front end damage, because it just hurts the aerodynamics of these trucks so badly.
Yeah, I'll take a banged up bumper all day, but when it comes to that nose, all it takes is a little bit to, I can tell you from personal experience last night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing if you look at the NASCAR teams in the real world, before they went to this new body on the next gen. So say, for example, if you look at the trucks in real life, they spend countless hours getting that nose just right. And you see stories and read or watch stories of crew chiefs that try to slip a little bit of tape under the wrap on the car. You know, anything to change the aerodynamics, just what would seem like nothing, but it actually makes a difference in the aero, the way the air glides over the front of that truck, and whether it slows it down or speeds it up. Yeah, Steve Korosek is 1 lap down now, along with Richard Sanchez. They have both been lapped, and it looks like Zachary Lima is in danger. He's 32 seconds behind the leaders right now, so running by himself, that's going to be it's going to be hard to stay on that lead lap much longer.
Well, especially when you realize that they're going to do. Let's look at the last lap time. Last time by, we saw times around 51:49 for these leaders. So if you're running 32 seconds, the gap between that leaders, it's not going to. That's 16 seconds away.
Wow.
So what that looks like on the track map, Zachary Lima is that 22 there on the track map. And the 88 of Gabe Butler is highlighted in green. They're about to come up on the 510 of Richard Sanchez.
This is what happens when you see green flag pit stops. We saw it in the Daytona 500 Sunday. You get different groups pitting at different times, and what it does is it eliminates one big pack. Now all of a sudden we've got several smaller packs. We've got that pack that Gabe Butler is leading out front, but then there are a couple other packs behind them that are running their own race, basically.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Richard Sanchez is going to be picked off a bit.
Shane Posey in the 83 and Gary Jenkins in the 90 are running in a group, just the two of them. They're a little bit behind. They're probably 6 seconds behind that lead pack, but holding their own. They're staying fairly close. They're not letting the guys in front of them run away from them, but yet at the same time with just 2 trucks, it makes it very difficult to catch them.
Well, there's about 10 miles an hour delta between those who are running in the pack here versus those single cars by themselves.
Yep. Yeah, and then you get these 2 guys, Shane Posey and Gary Jenkins, and they're kind of right in the middle there. Their last lap was 52, so they're running, and the last lap up front was 51, so they're about a second slower. Now they've got part of larger pack now, it looks like.
Yep, so we've kind of formed up into 2 groups. Of course, that 22 of Zachary Lima is out there by himself, I think, but you've got a couple different groups here. You can see the delta on the board. So Dean Wilkinson at 55 will drop back to that pack back here, where they're forming up back here. You got 7 cars back here making a concerted effort, it looks like, to stay together and work their way back up. They're about 8 seconds between themselves and that lead pack.
Yeah, Richard Sanchez in the 510, remember he had a little difficulty several laps ago. Now he finds himself 2 laps down, but the fortunate thing is he's running with that lead pack. So he's not going further behind if there's a yellow flag coming up, and that's a big if. This has been a very, very good race. He'll be able to get 1 lap back, and if he can make that happen twice, then he'll be able to get a couple. Kevin Freese just announced on the radio he was going to go pick up Zachary Workman, and that's exactly what he did. They jumped up to another lane all by themselves.
All right, let's go back to that lead pack with Dave Butler.
see that outside lane with Kevin Freeze at the tail end of it. You've also got the 22 of Zachary Lima, and can't quite make out that red black truck in front of them. What number that is? 027 maybe? Or the 050. No, it must be the 027.
A little bit of contact there.
Yeah. That let that outside lane get caught up. They were several truck lengths back, and then that inside lane had that little bit of an incident, little mix-up there, and that slowed them down enough to let that outside lane get a good run. That's one of the difficulties in this pack racing is you can be running along having a great race, and somebody in front of you gets out of shape. All of a sudden you have to lift or let off on the accelerator, and then, you know, I mean, you've lost your momentum. It takes a long time to get it back. You lose it quickly, but it takes a while to regain it.
Gabe Bower continues to show us the way. Eric Laurie is showing in second. Kevin Freeze in third. Zachary Workman in fourth. Robert Rock in fifth. Dean Wilkinson shows in sixth. Brian Broussard in seventh. Shane Posey in eighth. Gary Jenkins in ninth. And Edward Fielder showing in 10th. 11th is Mike Ritkiss. James Rohan in 12th. Tom Dixon in 13th. Steve Korosek in 14th. Zachary Lima in 15th. And Richard Sanchez in 16th. Well, that's 34 laps in the books, 44 laps yet to play out here. We should see pit stops in around 6 laps here at Talladega.
Yep.
We thank you for tuning in to the Speedway Kings here at Talladega. This is our 6th race.
Seventh. Well, 6th that we broadcast.
Yep.
It's the 7th race of the season, and then we did not broadcast the one race.
7th race of the season here with this league. Always great racing here. If you're an iRacing fan, if you're just love super speedways, this always brings so much great racing with these guys side by side, 2 and 3 wide here at Talladega. We thank you for tuning in to the IWM Broadcast Network. We bring you this every Tuesday, and on Wednesday nights we are bringing you the IWM broadcast of the Tech for Troops Cup Series. Tomorrow night is their Season 2 finale. That is at Charlotte. That will decide the winner of that event, and we look forward to bringing you that race.
I'm looking forward to that race. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to run or just watch, because I'm not in the championship hunt. Wouldn't be anyway, but I'm not able to race every week on Wednesdays. But I love racing with those guys as well. They're a lot of fun. They have a good time, and they're good racers.
Well, the more the merrier. Don't want to have just those 4 guys out there running around by themselves.
That's true.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, there's the, was that the 111 of Edward Fielder out there by himself in the third lane? Looks like he's trying to drop to the back. Could be positioning for a pit stop.
Well, Eric Fielder last pitted on lap 19, so he was like a lap earlier than the other guys, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, that's right. He was the one that pitted by himself, wasn't he? Yeah, we're most trucks are 16 laps into this pit run. Normal pit run's about 20 laps, so it'll be about 4 laps maybe earlier for some. It's interesting because if you figure 20, if everybody goes 20 laps each time, four runs would be 80 laps, and this is a 77 lap race. So that gives them, if they go the full 20, that gives them just enough for hopefully a green white checker, but maybe not 2. And I noticed in the racing this weekend on TV, they don't call it green white checker anymore. They call it overtime. And and that's going to be a hard one for me to break. A hard habit.
Well, I think that just kind of makes sense when you look at other sports, whether that's extra innings or baseball, overtime or football.
Yeah. I was thinking about that when I was watching Fox for the 500, and I said, why do they call it overtime? And I know they've toyed with that word before, but this was the first race I don't remember hearing green, white checker at all. And so they've gone to that. But then I got to think about they're trying to attract casual fans, and casual fans don't understand what's a green, white checker. They do understand overtime.
Well, we certainly spend our time here talking about that each and every week, helping to explain to someone who may tune in and is curious about what that means. But you're right.
Well, these guys are getting close now. Lap 38. They're running primarily single file. I would not be surprised to see every one of these trucks in this lead group.
Yeah, I think you'll see Eric Fielder. He made up that lap. He is on the lead lap, so expect to see him in this next time by.
Tom Dixon now is the only truck one lap down. He's in that 411 truck, and he's hoping for a caution right now.
He is. So the only truck that could stay out a little bit longer is Richard Sanchez. He pitted on lap 22. So he's got a couple lap advantage if he chooses to exercise it. Of course, again, with the amount of drivers that we have on the track and the quality of the race craft that we're seeing, you don't see too many cautions. Even when we had a full field, we only had a handful of cautions. So.
Yeah. Well, this has been just a nice follow the leader for Gabe Butler.
Yeah, let's jump back to Dean Wilkinson. First, these guys, they're about 17 seconds back, and I look at the track map. There's a good bit of difference. There's nearly half a track. About 17 seconds dividing them. Oh, but here we go. Gabe Butler, the leaders are on pit road. Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Zach Workman, Robert Rock, Kevin Fries, all coming down pit road. The other pack is now in as well. This is now Dean Wilkinson. And this pack is making their way down. And there we go. And they're out.
Gabe Butler, first one out. Well, there's another car out there in front of him.
That's the 510, I think, of
Richard Sanchez.
Yep.
He's a couple laps down.
He did pit. But yeah, I got him two laps down.
I think he's about to become 3 because these guys have a head of steam. They're going to catch him pretty quickly, and it is tough to, when you're being lapped like that, to all of a sudden get back in the line and make up that speed differential.
That's James Mohan making his way on down the pit road. That was his time, but you're right. That freight train of Butler, Workman, and Rock is barking at the tail of the 510 right now.
Oh, there they go. He moves up. Richard Sanchez moves up into that center groove to let those guys get by. He'll come right back down, get behind them, and try to get a sniff of their draft. We'll see if he's able to do it or if they just pull away from him.
That's 22 of Leva coming out, and I think Eric Fielder. They are making their way off of pit road.
Well, at least Richard Sanchez isn't by himself now. He got in that line, and those guys may be able to, if they can get all 5 trucks running together, they could run down those front 3.
Yep, that's the 5:10 of Richard Sanchez. Of course, he is 2 laps down, but you're right, he's got that 22 in front of him, the 071, the 25. And they are cutting into that delta, and I think that delta's gone.
Richard Sanchez had a really, really fast pit stop, which is what enabled him to get out so far in front. He had a 7.9. Gabe Butler had an 11.3.
I think that's just fuel.
Yeah, 3.5 seconds. Didn't take any tires and was able to get back out quickly. And consequently, I thought he was going to go a 3rd lap down, but he didn't. He was in front of those guys, so he ended up staying on the same lap. So now we have Steven Korosek in the 027's the first truck a lap down, with following him James Mohan, Tom Dixon, Edward Fielder, and Richard Sanchez now only 1 lap down. I'm not sure how that happened. He was 2 laps down just a little bit ago.
Well, his nose was out in front of the 88 of Butler.
Oh, okay. That was it. Yep. Guys making that outside lane work right now. Looks like we've got 8 cars now in this lead draft. Whoop. Got to hand it to Kevin Freeze. He slowed down, went up there behind to give that red and black truck there a push to keep him tied up with everybody. But now I'm not sure what he's trying to do. Is that Robert Rock
on that outside?
No, that's at the O. I can't read the number on it. Yeah, that red and black truck. Red and black truck right behind the 22.
Yeah, that's Rock right there. It's 171. He's now in the middle there. That's Robert Rock in the middle behind the 22. That's the 027.
027, yeah, I saw it there. Yeah, Kevin Freeze is doing his best to keep that 027 of Steven Korosek up there. He doesn't want to see him lose another lap. Kevin is the head of this racing circuit, or this racing team right at the moment, and puts these races on, taking over for Jimmy Crow, who had done such a great job for so many years. And Kevin also doing a great job, but he wants these drivers to have a chance. It's good to see him being unselfish here. I think when we get to the end, it's time for everybody to be selfish. But right now, he wants to keep people in the race and keep everybody having a good time.
Well, 30 laps or so to go. We're well past the halfway point. We've had 2 rounds of green flag pit stops. No yellow flags per se for the day.
Well, Richard Sanchez went from leading that group to he's back at the tail end of that. Looks like an 8-car pack right now. And that's probably a smart move. He's 2 laps down, so no sense being up front, and just the slight possibility of having a mistake that takes leaders out. It's a smart move by Richard to fall in the line where he did there.
Makes perfect sense. Well, thank you for tuning in to our Tuesday night broadcast of the Superspeedway Kings. We are on lap 48 of the 77 schedule. Gabe Butler continues to show us the way. Kevin Freeze in second. Zachary Workman is currently in fourth. The 071 of Lori is in third.
Yeah, Steve Korsek in that 027 is on the lead lap, but he's actually just barely on the lead lap. So by being in front of the 22, he's holding his space. The 22 also, Zachary Lima, is the last car on the lead lap. So Gabe Butler in that 88 is actually leading the race, and those two cars in front of him are trying to stay on the lead lap until we get to the next pit stop.
That's the 027 of Steve Korsak and the 22 of Zachary Lima. You are correct.
A lot of strategy going on here right now, and so far, to Gabe's credit, he's letting those guys run there. If they want to run there and they're running clean, then he's not going to try to take advantage of them, try not to force them a lap down.
No, it's to his advantage, because if you're running up front, you're actually going to burn a little bit more fuel than if you were hanging back in second or farther back in the pack. You can take advantage of their draft, and you'll burn less fuel.
That's a good move for Gabe.
Yeah, this pack does have a pretty big a pretty big gap over the 83 of Shane Posey. Jump back to this group back here, being led by the 83 of Posey.
Yeah, they're a full half lap down now.
Yeah, I think that car behind him is Broussard. It's marked 11, but I think that's actually Brian Broussard. It shows on the tower as 745. So sometimes we see that with info that the driver has entered into iRacing. May not quite match his paint, but you know, it happens. We've got the 90 of Gary Jenkins there.
Whoa,
in that group.
Whoa. I think that was so Stephen Korsek, possibly?
Yellow flag, yellow flag.
Yep, Stephen Korsek got both of those cars that were ready to go a lap down, all of a sudden dropped out, and I saw Steve Korsek go sideways there. He was able to save it. Oh, rear damage on him. You can see, from hitting the wall there. Let's see if he got tapped or not.
Say there may have been a little contact right there.
Yep.
And unfortunately, that
22
tries to save it. Does a good job of trying to minimize that contact, but pretty good right side damage on that car, that 027 truck.
Yep. So now he is a lap down, and we'll see if he is able to keep that lap or no. We are under yellow now.
Yep. So we're under yellow here at Talladega with the Superspeedway Kings here at lap 52.
That sounds right.
And we expect to see everybody down onto pit road once pit road is opened up.
I got to tell you, this is surprising. Part of it's because of the little bit smaller truck count, but we have never gone 52 laps before the first caution flag.
Yeah, there was an earlier incident at the beginning, but for the most part, you were right.
Yeah, they and it didn't draw the yellow. We stayed under green for that one.
Well, you know, when it's a single car incident and the truck keeps going forward, the yellow is not going to fly.
Yep. iRacing takes a little bit different stance on that as you see these trucks coming down pit road.
So this is interesting strategy. So with 52 laps to go, we know they can do 21 laps.
Yep.
And that's going to put them really tight right there at the edge. Can they stretch it out? Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, that's going to be tight. The leader certainly won't be able to. It'll be interesting to see what Gabe Butler does here. Does he try to retain the lead, or does he allow himself to fall back a little bit?
Well, Eric Laurie, I think, made it out a little bit quicker. He only took on fuel, I think. His pit stop was only a 7.9 second stop, whereas everybody else, not everybody, Gabe Butler, Zach Workman, Robert Rock all took a full set of tires and fuel. Gary Jenkins took fuel only. So did Steve Korosak, fuel only. Tom Dixon, Richard Sanchez, all those guys trying to find some advantage by taking fuel only.
Yep. Edward Fielder had a really long pit stop. He was in there for 28 or 20 seconds. And he's a lap down, so probably figured it didn't matter that much. Wanted to get some minor damage on his truck fixed without using a quick repair. So now Steve Korosek is the first truck a lap down. That 22 of Zachary Lima was able to stay on the lead lap. Steve Korosek got the lucky dog, didn't he?
He sure did, yes.
I
show he is the last car on the lead lap.
Yep.
Let's try to bring our
changed right while I was talking about it.
So Richard Sanchez now is one lap down. Now what you just saw, but that's familiar. That's Zachary Workman, Robert Rock, Kevin Fries, and Shane Posey. Richard Sanchez as well. They're topping off.
Yep. That goes back to what you were saying earlier. They're just outside of fuel window to make the full 77 scheduled laps. So they're going to top off now, save as much fuel as they can under these cautions. And they'll lose some track position, but they're going to hopefully gain it back in not having to stop again, is their hope and desire, I think.
All right, 23 laps to go. The lights are off on our pace truck. Field is getting formed back up, 2x2. Eric Laurie will be our control car at the Geico restart zone.
Right now, it looks like Gabe Butler and Zachary Lima are the only trucks in the top 10 that have won a race so far this season. So look for both of those guys to do well. Zachary Workman is in 8th spot in that 19th truck. He is actually leading the points. I apologize. He's had 2 wins. But he's leading the points and has 2 wins.
Here we go, coming back to the stripe. And off we go. Green flag is out.
Gabe Butler's jumping out there and going right down to that lower line and not afraid to run up front.
That left Brian Broussard out there on the outside in that 11 truck. 411 is behind him. That's Tom Dixon.
Yeah, there weren't very many trucks in that outside line. Looked like there must have been a lot of EOL penalties to get everybody lined up in that inside line.
Just 3 trucks not in the field, not on track right now. We are nose to tail here with 22 laps to go.
We have not seen any 3 flag racing, or 3
3 wide.
3 wide racing.
We have not. So it's
No,
Butler, Lori, Jenkins, Rimkus, Lima, Workman, Posey, Freeze, Rock, and Dixon. That is your top 10 tonight.
Well, it makes it a lot easier to read off the top 10 too, because they're staying in position. We don't have 2 or 3 lanes fighting one another.
Yeah. We should tell them that. Stay in your lane.
Good, solid, almost incident-free racing tonight. We had that one incident on lap 3, I think it was, that took out Joe Del Vecchia. And then we've had a couple other minor little glitches, and then we had a yellow flag on lap 52. Caution came out. Trucking into the wall there, but other than that, these guys have run a very, very clean race.
Super clean. Well, 20 laps to go here at Talladega. Gabe Butler continues to show us the way. Eric Flory is in second. The 90 of Gary Jenkins has filled into third. There's been some changing back where that outside line's beginning to form up. 22. 3 lanes, a bit of 3 wide going on right now. I mean, if the only way you're going to get to the front and challenge these guys is to do something like this. Side drafting, get a second, get a third lane going. You got to be a disruptor to try and get your way up to the front. But if you're just playing follow the leader, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, you see Boussard and Rock there, those last 2 trucks, they tried to make it work on the outside, and they weren't making any headway and fell a little behind. So now they're trying to get up ahead of steam again, getting in line with that second lane. And I wouldn't be surprised to see those guys, as they get closer, they'll get more and more momentum. They may try to make a run to that third line and get to the outside.
2 lanes formed up solidly. The 22 of Zach Lima is right now leading that outside line with the 25 of Kevin Freeze on his tail. I'm guessing, my money says we're 3 wide by those last 2 laps, so we'll see.
Oh yeah. I think we're not done seeing 3 wide.
That's 25 of by himself.
Yeah, looks like he's going back to try to help push some guys up to the front. You see that a lot with these guys that run these leagues. They're very, very capable drivers in their own right. They want to have good racing. They want to have a lot of people competing for the lead, and they want all their drivers to feel like they've got a shot at it. So I think you'll see Kevin, we've seen him all race long, trying to help drivers, trying to push people to get them up to the front.
Oh, the 22, big move.
Wow.
It's like he's cycling back a little bit here, trying to, maybe he's starting that third line. But he's tucked in right now in that. Whoa, here we go, here we go.
Some guys that know they can't make it. Gabe Butler leading that charge onto pit road.
All right, that's 6 cars down, and they're short pitting.
Yep.
So with 16 laps to go, they don't have enough fuel to make it all the way around. So instead of waiting to the last second and coming down, they're taking this opportunity just to get down, take fuel. Those are 5-second pit stops, and they're all right back out. If they go in as a group and come back out as a group, they stand a very good chance of staying ahead of the rest of the pack.
And I think those are the same guys that took 4 tires on that last stop. So they wouldn't have taken any tires on this stop, obviously. But they're still in good shape rubber-wise. They'll be able to get out there and run with the leaders. And I think it's a very, very good strategic move on their part.
So a couple of them are just kind of hanging back a little bit. So you got more on pit road. Tom Dixon, Mike Rimkus, Robert Rock, Brian Broussard, and Richard Sanchez. They are on pit road doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's like monkey see, monkey do, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's almost like they had their hand forced. When Gabe Butler and that crew right there came in, then the other guys realized, well, we probably can't make it on fuel either, so if we're going to stop, we ought to do it quickly and give us time to get back to the front before we get to the end of the race.
So you've got Kevin Fries and Gary Jenkins back there. They're by themselves, currently tailing back behind the lead pack. They've got some traffic now coming up. That's that second group that just was in earlier. They're making their way back up to race speed, coming off of pit road.
Yeah, I think you'll see them. They're catching that 3-car pack up at the front. They'll go around those 2 guys, Sanchez and that orange and black truck there. I can't read the number, but
yeah,
they.
That's the 171.
Okay, Robert Rock.
Yep. So that was, I think, Edward Fielder coming off of pit road just now.
Yeah, the 027 of Steve Korosek, it shows him in the lead, but he's out there running all by himself, and they're going to run him down in short order.
He did not stop. He last pitted on lap 54, so he may be gambling.
Yeah, boy, when he's running out there by himself, though, you're using max fuel at that point.
Yeah, but he's got the 22 of Zach Limo. They both.
Oh, does he?
They're both together. They both did not pit on that stop, so.
Okay.
Of course, Zach Lima pitted last on lap 53, so he's going to be running that tank pretty dry to make it 77 laps. He's going to try and get 24 laps in the tank.
Those guys would love to see a caution right now, but most of the trucks behind them don't have a need to stop, so I kind of doubt that they would. With a caution, they have plenty of fuel to begin with. With a caution, they would have more than enough.
Yep. Now with the caution, that group of second Lima at that point would be perfectly fine as well. They'd be down to, pacing around at a lower speed. So.
Yep.
So I think at this point, no one wants to see a caution. Doesn't help anybody out. Mike Rimkus has just made his way down to pit road. That's the 632.
Yeah, pitting all by himself.
Yep. So right now that's with Korosek and Lima the way they are. They've got only a 20-second advantage over. Let's get some deltas here. So Steve Korosek just ran a 50.24. Gary Jenkins and Kevin Fries ran a 50.02. That's less than 0.2 between them, which doesn't sound like a lot because it's not. And with the 18-second advantage and only 11 laps to go, these guys can make it on the tanks they've got, they're good to go.
Yep, and these guys they're coming up. They're going to be down to 15 seconds worth of lead any second now, and it's counting down quickly. But I don't know if it's quick enough to catch them.
Not with 10 laps to go.
Yeah, 10 laps to go, and they've got a 15-second lead. So
16.1. I'm not sure. Obviously, do the math. They'd have to be gaining nearly a second and a half each lap to close that gap. Now, they are catching them. I will give you that. But now it's around, I think, a second per lap. What we don't have is access to the fuel gauge in the 027
nice.
and the 22 to see just exactly what's happening. But I'm concerned. My guess is they're going to gamble. We'll see.
Yep. And they're gaining on them by somewhere in that second and a half range. So this is going to come right down to the wire.
Well, my guess is that these guys may have backed off a little bit. I would imagine so. Just try and save a little bit of fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, they're down to under 13 seconds now. 9 laps to go. That's still some serious ground to make up. I think these guys would be better off to get in a single file line, but I don't think anybody wants to do that right at the moment. It's too close to the end.
Let's jump back to this. So this is the group that's trying to chase them down. You're right, they are running too wide. But they're doing 187, 188 miles an hour. And Coruscant and Lima around 180. So there's about 10 miles per hour at times where they have a major advantage over them. You can see them there at the end of that straightaway. They got that track map.
Yeah, going into 3 and coming out of 4 right now.
Yep, so we've got the 027 highlighted right there on our track map, right through the tri-oval. You can see the 83 coming right now out of 4 and hunting them down. 11 seconds. Not a lot of time, but 7 laps to go.
Well, if this was bicycle racing, they would call that a 2-car, 2-bike breakaway. We'll see if the pack can catch them. It's amazing. There are some similarities between auto racing and bicycle racing, but automobiles definitely go a little faster.
All right, 6 laps to go at the stripe. A 10-second gap separates the second place car of Lima and the third place car of Gary Jenkins. Of course, Gary is running in a pack, a hungry pack of wolves trying to chase down those 2 rabbits out front.
This can be so close because right now they don't have enough time left to catch them. But the issue is going to become as they get closer, they start to pick up that draft of those 2 cars in front of them. And that'll pick up their speed at least a little bit. And the closer they get, the more it'll pick it up. So it's going to be interesting. About 8.5 seconds now, 6 laps to go.
Interestingly enough, Edward Fielder has they've picked up the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Fielder was 1 lap down. They've added him to their little train, and that has helped them, especially if they were saving fuel.
Yeah, if he could have gotten in front of them, that would have helped even more.
That's what he's done. He's in front.
Oh, he is in front now. Yeah, you're right. Let them coast a little bit.
5 laps to go.
And they're starting to catch them a little bit faster.
22 can't do it. 22 needs the fuel.
Oh, that's a shame. That was helping.
Yep. That's Zachary Lima. We knew that he was 1 lap to the worst of Steve Korosek. He had been at lap 53. I don't think that if Zachary Lima, if he was going in, the 22 is in.
Brian Broussard is paired up with them now. They've got 3 cars again.
I'm thinking that Steve Korosek does not have the gas.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but there are 4 laps to go.
And we're now 3 wide. Kevin Freese leading that third charge with Richard Sanchez.
Well, we'll jump back to this group.
That.
And we'll keep an eye on Steve Korosek and see if he is able to stay out front. We'll jump back to him on that last lap if he's by himself. My guess is, with only 4 seconds between these guys and Korosek, he is in their sights.
Boy, I'll say.
Well, we are 3 wide here at Talladega. Superspeedway Kings never fail to put on a great show. These guys can see Korosek in their sights. The 90 of Gary Jenkins continues to show the way. He's got the 88 of Gabe Butler behind him, and the 071 of Eric Rory down on that low line. A little bit of a change. Shane Posey has kind of dropped down, and the 19 of Workman has moved up with the 171 of Robert Rock behind him. That outside line has got the 25. That 25 is Kevin Freese, and he's got the 510 of Richard Sanchez. Richard is a lap down, but he is right there.
Boy, you can see the gap closing now. That one shot on the back stretch. There it is again.
Well, there's just 2 laps to go. Across the stripe, they're coming down to 1 lap. Can they catch him? It's close. Well, just 1 second.
Faster now. They're going to get up to him and blow right by them on the back stretch.
All right, we're coming up to the last lap. We'll turn off that tower. Let's just watch and see what happens here and there. Does he move up to the outside? He does not. He stays down low. Nope. The 90 blows right by Garrett Jackson.
Somebody's out of fuel there.
Out of gas. He's got a little push by the 22. Try and help him get around, but oh, that's terrible.
Gary Jenkins.
The 027 is out of gas. Gary Jenkins takes over the lead. We are 2 wide. Making our way out of turn 4, headed towards the stripe. Contact. The 90 spinning. Contact 111.
Oh my.
Oh, contact before the stripe. It's all the 88 of Gabe Butler. I think we'll win this.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. We just no.
Man, that was an exciting. That's probably the most exciting finish I've seen out of these guys this season. To have a almost caution-free, only 1 caution flag race, and then come down to that at the end. It's when it gets to that last lap, it's every man for himself. They're going for the win.
Wow. Let's go back to that checkered flag.
See that 171 and Kevin Freese both look like they're in the best spot.
Let's back it up and get a look at the 90 real quick. So watch this. So the 19 unfortunately comes down. Well, let's take that back.
It looked like maybe both. They both moved towards the center.
They're
the
they're
90. Yep,
they're
he's coming, and they both going. Man,
yep. They both came up together.
Gabe Butler goes down inside wisely to try to stay out of that mess.
Of course, the 90 comes down, tags. Oh, the 83 makes it through clear, but unfortunately, the 111 gets tagged. 411.
So
The
there must
11
be a
makes it
second
through.
incident up here at the line.
So continuing with our watch, 88 stays low. The 510 is there. The 83 of
83's got
Posey
a big run.
tries to split it, but the 510 comes down,
Yep.
and that just takes them all out, leaving the 88 of Gabe Butler.
Gabe Butler is saying thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, so let's look at our finish. Let's try to get that finish in here.
So Gabe Butler in the 88 truck coming home first. Eric Laurie gets credited with second in the 071. Shane Posey in the 83 had that big run, and he comes home with third.
Fourth is Robert Rock. Fifth, Zachary Workman. Sixth, Gary Jenkins. Steve Korosek, Brian Broussard, Sanchez in ninth. Zachary Lima finishes in 10th. Freeze 11th. Dixon in 12th. Fielder in 13th. Rimkus in 14th. Dean Wilkinson in 15th. James Mohan in 16th. And Joe Dellavecchia finishes in 17th.
An honorable mention there to Richard Sanchez. We saw him leading for a while, and then he was 2 laps down. And he came back to finish in 9th spot. So top 10 finish for Richard, 1 lap down, but good recovery on his part. Same with Brian Broussard, Zachary Lima, both doing a great job of getting back to where they need to be.
Absolutely. So Shane Posey joins us here in the broadcast booth. Great a wild finish here. We thought we were just pretty much just playing follow the leader for a while there, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Well, what did it look like from your spot, Shane?
I was thinking we were coming to the white flag. I thought we had another lap to go. And I do want to apologize on that first little pit stop. I mean, whoever was in front of me, I did my normal thing, and they just slowed too much, and I tried to lock it up and stay off of them, but I couldn't, and that kind of put us in a hole there. But we tried to work best we could, but we just couldn't catch that main pack. Really don't understand why caution didn't come out with the first couple laps, or that in the incident in the pits. But later on, one car gets in the wall, so it causes a caution, gives us a break, gets us back in the pack.
Yeah, you're right. There were a couple times there where I thought cautions could have come out. One was on lap 3 when Joe Delvecchia did a single car spin, but I can kind of see that one. But yeah, when someone spun on pit road, I can't remember who it was. I think it was the 7 car of the 7 truck, James Mohan.
Yeah, I got into the back of the 7. I mean, like I said, I want to apologize for it. I mean, I tried everything I could to stay off of him, but he just braked too soon. I don't know what slowed him up so much, but I do want to apologize for that. And that last lap, well, I was thinking we still had a lap to go, so I was like, yeah, there's a hole there. I'll just go out to that hole. And then somehow I guess the lappers got involved and didn't want me to take that hole, so the poo hit the fan.
Yep. Well, yes, that happened. So, well, still, you know what? Sometimes it is what it is, and you have the opportunity to finish P3. That's a great job on your part. Any shout outs tonight?
Just thanks to Jamie, and he invited me here a few months ago, and I had an issue, too, where I kind of made somebody mad and got suspended for a little bit, but try to put all that behind me, and Nitro Racing I ran their setup tonight and had their logo on my truck, so I hope I put a little advertisement out for them. And I do want to apologize for the other week whenever I finished second and I had to go, but I was needed in real life, and as soon as the race was over, I had to jet.
Oh, don't worry about that. Yeah, we certainly look for you guys to get in the interview booth with us. But if what matters is this simulation is fun. It's that fellowship, but real life is where it's at. So we appreciate it.
And you guys, I mean, I watch after every race. I watch you guys, and y'all do an awesome job. I hope you keep on doing it many months ahead.
Thank you very much. Today was a bit of a scramble for us, but we made it work. Yeah, a little bit of technical issues, but no, we appreciate your participation, coming in the booth with us, and I'm gonna try and bring Eric Laurie. Let me see if I can grab Eric here and move him up to the broadcast booth. Eric, welcome to the broadcast booth. Congratulations on your P2 finish.
Well, thank you. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're good. That was
doing great.
We thought we were just calling a regular nose to tail kind of conservative race, and then it wasn't.
It all blew up from there.
It did at that last lap. Really, it was that last from mid-turn 3, turn 4. It just got wild.
It sure did. Everybody's going everywhere.
What was the most interesting part of the race to you, Eric? Where did you feel like you kind of solidified your position and you were going to be running at the front?
Pit stops are a big help. That really helps you knowing where you're going to be, and a few pushers helping too. Kevin got me back up on. I was a little slow on one pit stop there, but Kevin pushed me back up. So it was just stay up with the crowd and make a good finish.
Yeah, we saw that you had come down a lap, I think lap 78, to try and top off for fuel.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I was just going to say, we saw you mentioned Kevin giving you a push. We saw Kevin do that frequently tonight. Ended up hurting himself as far as the standings go, but it made for really good racing. Kevin ended up finishing 2 laps down, but we saw him, we commented on it throughout the race, watching him push people to keep the race, keep more people involved in running up front. And it was just good example of sportsmanship. Enjoyed seeing that. Any
shout outs tonight, Eric?
Oh yeah, shout out to you guys for what you guys do, and shout out to the rest of the team. It was a lot of fun tonight.
It sure was. I'm going to see if we can bring Gabe up.
Congrats, Gabe.
Hey, Gabe, congratulations on your finish. I think you get the I Stayed Out of Trouble award on that one.
For the most part, I think I got Gary out of shape there coming out of 4, and that kind of started the mess. But anyway, I don't care to win that way, but we'll take it.
Yep.
Well, it was a good race tonight, Gabe. You were up front most of the evening. What did you see coming to the line there? I know you were an eyewitness to both of those problems, coming out of 4 and then right at the line.
Well, basically, when I got Gary out of shape, I thought I was going to be in trouble if cars missed it behind that incident coming out of 4 there. And that's what happened. And then I guess they ended up getting together coming to the line, and all of a sudden I missed it, and there I was by myself. So, I mean, luck of the Irish in that thing, I guess.
Well, see, we must have missed that. We saw that the 90 had Gary Jenkins had come and contacted Workman, but we didn't realize that maybe there was a little bit of help there with the 90.
Well, yeah, I was pushing it pretty hard, and I think both of us were down on the yellow, and I thought I was on him pretty square, but I got him out of shape, and I probably ended up pushing him up into Zach there and ended up ruining his race. So, like I said, I don't care to win races that way. I'd rather finish last than,
Well, it was a timing issue too, because just as he was just as you said you tapped him. We didn't see that, but just Zach was coming down at the same time. So he went up just a little bit, but it just happened to be at the exact same time Zachary was coming down. And that kind of messed up their days.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate. I guess at the end of the day, it might be considered a racing incident, but
Yeah.
You got to be responsible for the truck in front of you, just as the guy beside you. So, but anyway, I mean, it was a fun race overall. Like, I mean, even though we had a small field, these smaller fields tend to make for better racing sometimes. And if it wasn't for that one caution there was a number of us well ahead, so it was going to be a battle for the win there with about 6 cars. But that caution came out, and everybody was able to get their lap back, and made it exciting at the end.
Well, we didn't know if Steve Korsak in the 27 was going to have enough fuel there at the end. That certainly was a question. I knew it was going to be close. Unfortunately, he ran out of gas on that last lap.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was worth a try. It was that close on fuel, and we thought he was actually going to make it because he was within a number of cars trying to save, but I guess ultimately he ended up about a half a lap short. But I mean, a good try on his part. It's always worth it.
Any shout outs tonight, Gabe?
Yeah, shout out to SSK and you guys for putting on the broadcast. I mean, Kevin's doing a great job here, taking over from Jimmy, and looking forward to the next race. Hopefully we'll have some more bodies in here, but if we don't, so what? We'll race like we normally do, and give a shout out to my lovely wife, Jeannie.
All right, there you have it. Your winner, Gabe Butler, tonight here, Eric Laurie and Shane Posey. That's your top 3. We thank you for tuning in tonight to the Super Speedway Kings here at Talladega. We will see you next week here, I think, at Daytona. Yeah, at Daytona.
Daytona. It's going to be a good race.
Absolutely. And we'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same channel. We thank you for tuning in. All right. Good night, folks.
Thanks, guys.